Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. In this particular video, I want to explain to you guys why I strongly believe that the handshake between William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and Uhuru Kenyatta, the former President, is definitely going to weaken the influence of Raila Odinga in the broad-based government.
Watu wa gazeti wameniuliza jana, watu walipewa kasi. Hiyo ni mzuri sana. Sasa broad-based government is getting broader. Broad-based government is becoming broader. Imepanuka. Kwa sababu serikali ni ya wananchi ya Kenya yote, sio ya watu binafsi. Serikali ni kazi ya serikali ni kuhudumia wananchi. Hiyo ndio kazi yake. Na Wakenya yote ni walipa ushuru. Wakati wa expert yetu wengine waliingia kwa serikali, kuna wengine walipiga kelele, namna hii. Kama mtu ako na ujuzi ya kufanya kazi kwa serikali, wacha afanye hiyo kazi. So sisi tunaunga mkono vile rais anapanua serikali. Tena apanue zaidi. Tumekubaliana? Tena apanue nini? Kwa sababu tunataka wa Kenya yote, popote wako, kabila yoyote, dini yote, watu aina tofauti, kila mtu ajisikie na ajivune kuwa Mkenya. Kama mtu amepewa kazi na analingana na hiyo kazi, tunasema hiyo ni tick. Si namna hiyo? Hiyo iko sawa. Lakini wale ambao walikuwa wanalaumu watu wetu, ati wanasema ODM walifanya hii, ODM walifanya hivyo. Sasa wale walikuwa wanatembea na hao wako kwa serikali, watasema nini juu ODM sasa? Wale walikuwa wanatembea na hao hapo kwa barabara wameingia kwa serikali, watasema nini juu ODM sasa? Watasema nini? Walikuwa wanasema ati ODM ndio wameungana na President Ruto, ODM ndio wanafanya na sasa kila mtu iko hapa ndani. Utasema nini mwishowe? Watu wafanye kazi.
First of all, that handshake between William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta is going to shape the 2027 politics moving forward. And already we have identified the losers and the winners. Let me take this opportunity, for example, to explain to you guys how it's going to affect, for example, someone like Musalia Mudavadi. As we speak, before the handshake between Raila and Uhuru and Ruto, and the handshake between Ruto and Uhuru, Musalia Mudavadi was the third in command, because we had the president, the deputy president, and then we had the prime cabinet secretary. Then entered Raila Odinga. That pushed Musalia Mudavadi further to position 4, to an extent that we now had Ruto, Raila, because we've even seen ministers going to Raila Odinga's office, then now the deputy president, then Musalia Mudavadi. With the entry of Uhuru Kenyatta, now Musalia Mudavadi has now been pushed further to position 5, which means Musalia Mudavadi's influence in government has actually reduced. For Raila Odinga, I want to explain to you guys why or how that handshake has reduced his influence in the broad-based government. But of course, everything must always have the positive side and the negative side of it. The positive side to this handshake between Ruto and Uhuru is that Raila Odinga can now decide to bolt out and team up with Kalonzo Musyoka. Of course, we will have a narrative that, these guys played him. But let us not get into that for now. For now, I want us to focus on how I strongly believe that handshake is going to weaken the influence of Raila Odinga. Before you do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, allow me to dive in. But again, before I dive in, allow me to also take this opportunity to thank the following people. You are seeing their names on the screen there for the coffee they sent me earlier today. It goes a long way in supporting this channel. You can also do the same using the numbers you are seeing on your screen. A cup of coffee only goes for 200 shillings, but you can do more. It's been long since we did this. Ladies and gentlemen, let us dive in. Why do I strongly believe that the handshake between Uhuru and Ruto is going to weaken the influence of Raila Odinga? I want to be a bit brief in this particular video. Number one, we all know that with the entry of Uhuru Kenyatta into the broad-based government, one thing is now clear. Ruto can use Uhuru Kenyatta as a checkmate to Raila Odinga. That is the fact. In fact, if you've been studying and watching the reaction from Raila Odinga's side, they're worried. Because now, you see, we had a position where Ruto had impeached Rigathi. The mountain had drifted away. Then we had Raila Odinga there as the only hope for Ruto. Now Ruto has brought Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta is coming with the numbers, not real, but perceptual numbers. He's coming with the Jubilee Party. He's coming with the heart of a former president. Uhuru Kenyatta is coming with the heart of Mount Kenya kingpin, because even Rigathi Gachagua himself declared him, Uhuru Kenyatta, as Mount Kenya kingpin. So he can be easily used to checkmate Raila Odinga. Someone was telling me that at some point before this appointment, Raila Odinga had placed more demands to be met by Ruto, that he wanted additional cabinet secretary to replace the one which was still vacant, the one for the interior. But things did not work. What we saw was Uhuru Kenyatta bringing on board his allies. So which means William Ruto is communicating to Raila Odinga that, no, we are two. You guys need to share. So if you have 4, take 2, give them 2. So it's going to be effective in checkmating. Number 2, Raila Odinga, in my view, and ODM party for that matter, were more powerful immediately after Rigathi Gachagua was impeached. Because the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua exposed William Ruto. William Ruto realized that he didn't have the numbers in the mountain. And because he didn't have numbers in the mountain, he needed the numbers. Raila Odinga had the numbers. So because Ruto needed the numbers and Raila Odinga had those numbers, it meant that the value, the political value of ODM party was very high. Then they've joked with it to an extent that Ruto had to go and look for Uhuru. They were placing demands, and of course William Ruto was also not very sure with Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is a politician. He can play with you this game this way. In fact, I've been talking to so many people. Most people also don't believe that Ruto has roped in Uhuru Kenyatta. That Uhuru Kenyatta is just playing with William Ruto, then he will dump him. I doubt if that's the case here. The truth of the matter is that the value of ODM party is now down a bit. There's a kind of comfort Ruto now has that, I've managed to bring on board Uhuru and Raila. So one of them akileta shida, if one of them becomes tough-headed, I can play with the other. That's why I was shocked today to learn that the former Bahati member of parliament, Kimani Mujiri, who cried when Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, was talking as if he's now willing to support the latest appointments. So it means already William Ruto is achieving whatever he wanted. So the value of ODM is going to come down. And therefore, Raila Odinga's influence in the broad-based government is going to reduce. Number 3, one of the biggest headache William Ruto has been facing is how to deal with Mount Kenya. Because in Mount Kenya, in the last election, they voted for William Ruto to the last man. Then they started having the feeling of a betrayal. Then William Ruto was confused. William Ruto thought that he could just deal with Rigathi Gachagua. So immediately after the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, it became very difficult for William Ruto. In fact, William Ruto has not gone to the mountain, apart from the time he went to Embu, because the ground is hostile. The NIS are telling him the ground is just too hostile. So he needed to stabilize Mount Kenya, politically speaking. So the entry of Uhuru Kenyatta and his allies into the picture is going to help William Ruto stabilize the mountain. Because the truth is, by stabilizing the mountain, it simply means one thing, that he's going to have a side which is on his side, and another side which will be on Rigathi Gachagua's side. Because previously, before the entry of Uhuru Kenyatta, the mountain were like leaning more towards Rigathi Gachagua. And I've always explained to you that a united Mount Kenya is dangerous, politically speaking, for William Ruto. So William Ruto would not want a situation where Uhuru Kenyatta is there and the entire mountain is going with Rigathi Gachagua. That would be very dangerous, politically speaking, for him. And number 4 is the 2027 politics. If you look at it, William Ruto's game plan at the initial stages was very simple. Cut links with Mount Kenya, then focus on Western Alliance. He already believed that he had Weta and Musalia Mudavadi on his side. So he decided and he brought on board Raila Odinga. The intention of bringing Raila Odinga on board was to strengthen that Western Alliance, and of course Raila Odinga was also going to play a role in bringing or consolidating the coastal region. If you were to take a pen and a paper, you'll agree that Mount Kenya has the numbers. So by bringing on board Uhuru Kenyatta, I'm sure William Ruto will now work on trying to win back the support of the mountain. I'm reading the comments, people are saying, oh, it can't. That's politics. That's what we think. You guys will change. Yeah. So right now it would mean then William Ruto is not very keen on one side, on either Western Alliance or Mount Kenya. Previously was strictly pro Western Alliance. Now he has option. If the mountain will start drifting towards Uhuru Kenyatta again, he can even decide to do away with the Western Alliance. And that's going to mean that Raila Odinga's influence will be reduced. Ladies and gentlemen, lastly, politics is a game of numbers. Raila has the numbers, Uhuru has the perceived numbers. But William Ruto needs the numbers. But William Ruto is looking at Raila Odinga right into the eye, but he has a feeling that Raila is not honest. Raila Odinga might actually betray him. Raila Odinga might actually resign from AU and contest. And because of those issues, Raila Odinga's influence in the broad-based government, if you have to ask me, has gone down. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.